Hey, weirdos.
Hey. Hey, weirdos. We're
Right?
live weirdos.
We got all kinds of weirdos in here tonight.
All the
Sweet.
weirdos.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
So
up?
it's just been one of those days, dear. How about you?
I had the day off. It's my oldest child's birthday this weekend,
Oh, sweet. Big
and
plans?
she turns 30. Yes, we're going to the movies on Sunday. We're going to go see The Conjuring.
Of course you are.
Of course. So I
Of
took the day off and I took a nap today. Weird. Um, yeah, it was nice. Just kind of chilled.
kind of chill, kind of hung out. Yeah.
Prepared for this.
Prepare for this. Yeah, yeah. Well, I spent a good hour on the phone with a gentleman who's looking to come on an expedition. So
Nice.
did some of that.
Good. 'Cause you still
You
have
know,
spots, right?
huh?
You still have spots, right?
Mm-hmm. I do. I do. This one was actually for the Missouri one at the end of
Oh,
October.
okay.
So, you know, but yeah, just at the house today getting ready because I'm packing up because we're going to Arkansas next week. Two weeks after that is the conference here in
Yeah.
Missouri.
Yes.
The middle of October, we have a moth market we're doing. And the end of October, we have an expedition in Missouri. So I'm busy.
All right. Yes, Troy, naps are the bomb. I'm discovering that now later in life. That it's okay to take a nap. I don't have to constantly be doing something. I can do that later.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Fun stuff. So we're going to talk about The Exorcist tonight, right?
Yes, we are, because who doesn't love The Exorcist?
Well, yeah, okay.
Not you. Not you.
Um, I actually did not watch that movie until probably Stuart and Ethan were junior high.
Okay.
I am not I just the horror stuff like that, even the supernatural horror stuff, not so much. It's not that it scares me, it's just that some of it are I don't know. I'm like,
Seems a little seems a
yeah.
little something something.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely, made my kids sit up and pay attention. But, but the thing that I found interesting about that, and, we'll let you tell the story here in just a minute, but the actual house that happened in is in St. Louis, Missouri. So, when I
Yeah.
found that was I did not know that, because when I came out that movie, I was a little kid when that movie came out.
Right. Well, and in it actually happened a couple of places. So, um it's based on a story from 1949. It was actually a young boy, and they only identified him with a pseudonym as Roland Doe. I don't know why they wouldn't use John Doe. But they also called him Robbie. And so Robbie, I think I'll just call him Robbie. Um, Robbie was born to a German Lutheran family in 1935. And during the 1940s, the family lived in Cottage City, Maryland. And then Maryland, as we know, is just right neighbors with Washington, D.C., where Georgetown University is, and where William Peter Blatty was a student at Georgetown when he heard this story, and that's what inspired him to write the book.
Mhm.
Um, so let's see. So, according to Alan, who is Alan? I think he was a priest that wrote the story um, about Robbie. Um, he was an only child, and he was dependent upon adults as his household playmates. As only, sometimes only children who only really have adults to hang out with. He was particularly close with his Aunt Harriet, who was apparently a spiritualist and introduced Roland to the Ouija board
Okay.
when he was 20. She's like, "Here, come on in."
Yeah. No, thank you.
So it's like, okay, 1935 in the 40s, so he was maybe 10, 12, 13 when Aunt Harriet started to, "Let's play Ouija board." So according to Thomas Allen, after Aunt Harriet's death, the family experienced strange noises, furniture moving of its own accord, and ordinary objects such as vases flying or levitating when the boy was nearby. The family turned to their Lutheran pastor, Luther Miles Schultz, for help. Long interested in parapsychology, Schultz, excuse me, arranged for the boy to spend the night in his home so he could be observed. Um, and then when another parapsychologist, Joseph Rhine, learned that Schultz claimed he witnessed household objects and furniture seemingly moving by themselves, this other parapsychologist wondered if Schultz was unconsciously exaggerating some of the facts. Schultz advised the boys to see a Catholic priest because the
Mhm.
Lutherans just weren't cutting it, apparently.
Catholic. Okay.
Oh, so according to the traditional story, the boy underwent a number of exorcisms. Now, keep in mind, this is all going on in Maryland. This is all happening in Maryland at this
Okay.
time.
So this part of the story is in Maryland.
Yeah,
Okay.
this isn't we
Okay.
haven't even hit St. Louis yet.
Okay.
So he underwent a number of exorcisms. Edward Hughes, another Roman Catholic priest, conducted an exorcism on Robbie at Georgetown University Hospital, which is apparently where William Peter Blatty overheard this story. During the exorcism, the boy allegedly slipped one of his hands out of the restraints, broke a bed spring from under the mattress, and used it as a weapon, slashing the priest's arm, resulting in the exorcism ritual being halted. Any of this sound familiar from the movie so far? I have a whole list of comparisons of movie and yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So after the failed exorcisms, additional incidents occurred, including unexplained scratches on Robbie's body. The boy's mother was a native of St. Louis, desperately
Okay.
sought, here we go. So, desperately sought opportunities for a change of scenery. So, like, okay, we're going to go. We're going to get out of here. Maybe if we move, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. So she's thinking the house is haunted, that not her child is possessed. Okay.
Correct. Like, maybe, Aunt Harriet's, we just got to go.
Right.
At her wit's end. She's tried everything that she knows of. Um, so upon seeing the word Lewis appear on scratches on the boy's rib cage, the family resolved to travel to St. Louis. Right? Wouldn't that
Why?
like freak you
Why?
out?
Yeah. I'm not going to go travel where. Okay. No, nope. Not happening.
Go.
But okay.
Go. It's fun. It'd be fun. Said no one ever. So the family stayed at a relative's home at the inner suburb of Belnor. Not sure where Belnor is in relation to St. Louis, but here we
Well,
are.
Miss Marty Haney could tell us that. But
Miss
anyway.
Marty Haney could tell us that. Come on, cousin. All right. So during their stay, Robbie's cousin contacted one of their professors at St. Louis University, who in turn spoke to another associate of college church. Together, both priests visited Robbie in his relative's home, where they allegedly observed the bed shaking, flying objects, and the boy speaking in a guttural voice and exhibiting an aversion to anything sacred.
Okay.
Right?
That sounds familiar.
Um, Bowdern was granted permission from the Archbishop to perform another exorcism. And the exorcism took place at the Alexian Brothers Hospital, that's now called South City Hospital, but it's now it closed its doors a few years ago. Um, this poor kid. Um, so there was another priest. This kid was just surrounded by priests. At this point, I was so confused when I was researching. I was like, I don't know what priest is who now. Because
Right.
everybody's a priest. They're all here. They're at the psychiatric wing of this hospital. He was asked to assist with all of these other Jesuit priests, and Father Halloran stated during his part when he was there, he heard the words evil and hell along with other various marks that appeared on this young boy's body. Um, the boy's mattress again began to shake. Um, Robbie broke Father Halloran's nose. Um, and then magically it worked. Halloran reported that the ritual was over and the boy went on to live a natural life or an ordinary life.
Just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, we're done.
Right. It just bit. So upon, researching all of this in 1993, author Mark Opsenick questioned many of the supernatural claims, the bed shaking and the weird voice. Um, um, this author reports that Father Halloran, who was present at the exorcism, never heard the boy's voice change, and he thought the boy merely mimicked Latin words he heard the clergyman say, rather than gaining the sudden ability to speak Latin.
Okay. So now the church is coming out and saying that this really didn't
This
happen.
author is, it's like interviewing these folks now, and it's like, okay, maybe that really didn't happen. The author also questioned the story of Hugh's attempts to exorcise the boy and his subsequent injury, could find no evidence that the episode actually occurred.
See, it's like, why back in the 40s would they make this up? Why would they have any reason back then?
Well, maybe what we know now, as maybe it's extreme ADHD, hyperactivity. I don't know. Like back in Salem, all the girls that went crazy. It was like, no, it really wasn't crazy. It was your rotten bread. It was your
Yeah.
moldy bread that made everybody sick.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like I mean, I guess human nature is human nature. People are going to lie and bullshit and do
Right.
whatever. You know, maybe by falsifying an exorcism, it was a feather in the priest's hat. I mean, I don't know. Could that be if, oh, we've exorcised this child, does that
Right.
give him a better standing in the church?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, and this author went on to discover that, basically to psychiatrists, Robbie suffered from mental illness, and to priests, it was a case of demonic possession. And then to writers and filmmakers, it was a great story to exploit for profit.
Right. Yeah.
Um, everybody involved was kind of trained to see what they were
What they
trained to
wanted to
see.
see?
Right.
Okay.
Right. You know, each looked at the facts, but the opposite was true. And in actuality, they manipulated the facts and emphasized information to fit their own agendas.
Okay. Makes sense. I mean, makes sense. I get it.
You know?
Yeah.
And then the author went on to write that he located and spoke with neighbors and childhood friends of Robbie. Um, He concluded that the boy was a very clever trickster who actually pulled pranks to frighten his mother and to fool children in the neighborhood.
Well, I've pulled pranks and
Yes, you
scared
have pulled a
people.
prank or two, haven't you?
I have, but I'm not schizophrenic yet.
Right, right. Um,
Hmm.
there were skeptics who, other skeptics, Joe Nickel, wrote that there was no credible evidence to suggest that the boy was possessed by demons or evil spirits. Um, maintained that the symptoms of possession can be childishly simple to fake, childishly simple to fake.
So very easily
Right,
done.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, tantrums, trances, move furniture, hurled objects. Nothing of that was proven.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and old houses, because I live in an old house,
yeah,
you can move furniture by walking across the floor if you don't have, you
right.
know, a really good floor. So, you know. Oh, look, the Wicked Witch is here. Yay! It's David,
Which one? Oh, hey,
Bigfoot forensic. Every
hey,
time,
David,
yeah,
Wicked Witch. Wait, what? Who?
yeah. Yeah, well, because he was the one riding the bike, and every time I'd see him riding down the road, I could hear the music from the Wicked Witch, from Wizard of Oz. Dun,
Dun,
dun, dun,
dun, dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Sorry, squirrel.
Oh, shiny, shiny,
Right,
shiny.
exactly. Shiny, shiny.
So yeah, the William Peter Blatty picking up on, the boy and his family, and then the Ouija board and poltergeist activity, all of the key points from the book slash movie.
Right.
What's real?
Well, okay, and I'm trying to remember, in the movie,
I
did
have it
it
on
set up
here.
the Ouija board and all of that or not?
Oh yeah, they did. She
Okay.
was using it by herself to speak to Captain Howdy.
Okay. I couldn't remember because, like I said, I've only watched it one time, and that was years and years and years ago. Um,
Because that's the number one rule. Don't use it by yourself.
well, yeah, and it's like, okay. It's like, yeah, that's you never know what you're dealing with when you do stuff like that. So,
And I've played with them, and I've had 0 things happen. Um, my late husband claims he had an incident while holding a planchette that it started smoking in his hand. He was 12.
I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't,
I think maybe no, I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? And he's not here to retell the story, so
There you go. Now, if all of a sudden your part of StreamYard shuts off, I'm going to know he's there.
right. I suddenly look up and go, "Oh, hello."
Oh,
Well, I
there
mean,
you are.
actually, you see this
He's in the
raccoon?
raccoon.
He's in the raccoon.
Oh my gosh.
Anybody who knew Chris knew that he loved raccoons. He could sit and watch raccoon videos all day. Yeah.
To each his own. I
I know.
mean,
Little tree
get it.
rats. They're
Yep,
cute.
I get it.
Anyway. Anywho,
Okay.
so Robbie apparently went on Robbie, where is it? He outed um Robbie became Ronald Hunkler. Hunkler. He
Okay.
died in 2020, but apparently he went on to have a career and a family and worked for NASA.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, I
Yeah.
mean, either way you spin this was a kid that was pranking.
Kid that was pranking, had a little bit too much energy.
Yeah. Or
imagination, because he was an only child. What else was he gonna do? I was an only child, and I mean, my sister was born when I was 15, but I remember spending a lot of time by myself down at the creek, be entertaining myself.
yeah, yeah,
And if you were a little shit, you were gonna entertain yourself and scare the shit out of your mom, 'cause that was funny. I don't know.
right. I still scare the shit out of people. It's still funny.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Especially to involve your children like that. Hmm.
Hey, I've indoctrinated my children well. All 3 of them love to scare the ever living shit out of people and laugh. And let me tell you what, there's nothing funnier than those TikTok videos where people are
Or
jumping
just
out at
like,
other
oh, I
people.
know, I love them. Like the dinosaur lady when she's like,
Oh yeah, yeah, or they'll holler, "I pee," something. It's
pee.
like I could sit and watch those until I'm almost crying,
Mhm.
you
Gives you
know?
ideas. It gives you ideas, doesn't it?
It does. But see, I
Yes,
can't.
Troy, she does. She's taught her children well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Did he
Troy,
did he agree right away when you said, "Hey, Stuart, you
oh
wanna
yeah.
help me with something this morning?"
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah.
agreed right away. He goes, "What are we doing, mom?" Because they love to try to scare me, it's hard for them to scare me. Um, so yeah. And then every roommate they had when they were, just right out of high school, college, they terrorized them, just terrorized them, right? My oldest son to this day terrorizes his wife and daughter. One of his favorite things to do is to move the vacuum cleaner and throw things over it. So when she wakes up at night,
It
it
looks
looks
like
like,
a person.
yeah, yeah, he's done that a few times. He actually he was going fishing early one morning and he had to stop at Walmart to get a few things and went in and found a gorilla mask, drove
Okay.
back home. He was quite a ways away to scare her. He snuck back in the house, put the gorilla mask on in the bedroom. She was ready to kill him, right? I told her, I
Well,
said, "Be thankful that we don't live like across the field from each other because
uh-huh.
him and I would spend all of our time trying to scare each other."
Planning pranks, right.
Yeah. Yeah. About the only person that I don't ever do that to is Robert.
Is Robert.
And why I don't know.
I don't know, he would be an easy target, I think,
I
because
would,
he's
yeah,
so unsuspecting.
I probably, and there's no fun in that.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But,
if you
I can't necessarily do that stuff when we're out bigfooting. I have to save it for other times for other people. But anyway, but anyhow, so
oh my goodness.
I know, right?
So,
So now we're going to travel to a cemetery.
well, I have a couple of cemetery things. Um, when I was researching, ideas for our weird shows and stuff, um, I came across a story about a cemetery in Kirksville, Missouri,
Okay.
and
The Devil's Throne,
the Devil's Chair,
Devil's Chair. Okay.
aka the Baird Chair. And
Okay.
my ears perked up when I heard the Baird Chair because my family's surname is Baird,
Right.
and I had no idea. I was like, I even told my sister, sent her a message the other day. I was like, I had no idea we had Bairds in Northeast Missouri.
Right.
I knew that we probably predominantly came from Northwest, well, East, but Northwest Missouri. Um, so yeah. But it is in the Highland Park Cemetery in Kirksville, Missouri. It was first placed in the cemetery by Charles Grassel and David Baird when David's wife Anna died in 1911. Um, and I did not have a chance to upload a picture, but it looks just like a stone, like you could sit in it. It's a
Yeah.
stone chair that looks like there's a cushion on, like, a tree thing with, like, a shroud behind it, and, it's reported that something dreadful will happen to the person so bold as to be seated in it at midnight or on Halloween. A hand will emerge from the grave and drag the impious one down to the underworld.
You
Other
know,
version other versions suggest the intrepid one will be rewarded. And my sister said she sat in it, and I said, "Well, I wanna go sit in it now. I'm a
right.
bear. Maybe nothing had." Because she's like, "Well, it didn't do me, it didn't do me any good. I didn't get any riches, but you didn't get dragged to hell either." Um, so it's like, I wonder if it's because she knew she was a beard.
I don't know.
Maybe we're protected because 'cause we're beards.
Well, okay. My question is though, why would you build a chair, seat, throne
It
at
just looks
your—
like it just looks like
I
it.
mean, is he planning on sitting there and waiting, watching his wife's grave to see if she pops out? I mean, what is the intention of
I
a
mean, it's kind
seat?
of it looks like okay, so I love one of the things that I love in the world is going to cemeteries. I love cemetery. I love headstone art. I love funerary. I love reading the names, you know. Um, I've always been that weird kid that's just walking through the cemetery reading dates and names and people,
Well, right, right.
and it
Robert and
doesn't look
Gary were doing
anything
that
out
in
of
the
the
LBL.
ordinary.
Yeah.
It looks like something that you would find in a cemetery, like a mourning chair, if you will.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Well,
like,
and I mean, I
you've
know,
seen those sculptures that are like, "Oh, I'm mourning," and it's like,
yeah, yeah. And I know people used to actually go, what did they call them? Cemetery socials?
well, they used to have picnics,
Yeah.
at the graves of their loved ones. It was a common
Well,
thing
because
to
they'd
do
go
on
in
a.
and clean them up, because they're not like they are now where
Oh,
they're
sure.
always manicured and everything like that. My mother used to tell me stories like that. In the spring, they would take a, pack a lunch and go out there and clean around, the gravestones of the family,
Sure.
because she said, it's not like it is now where it's mowed and manicured and all this. So, yeah, they used to have cemetery socials too. So, it's
I would
like, all
love to
right,
do
okay. I could see you doing that. Exactly.
that. So, let's see, chair was sculpted out of concrete, by Charles Grassel of the Baird and Grassel Granite Work of Kirksville. Does that still exist? Oh my, let me see. Um, was placed as a memorial for Anna. 1 year later, David died and was buried beside Anna. This chair acts as their grave marker.
Wow.
But
Okay.
you know what? Fun thing is, if you when I was doing my research, do you know how many states have a devil's chair?
Probably all of them.
Yep, and they're all graveside benches. Florida, Illinois, Iowa, New York, Ohio, Vermont, Georgia, Italy.
Wow.
And what is it? What is the fascination with the devil this, the devil that, the devil's den, the devil's backbone, the devil's elbow, the
Well,
devil's knee?
so in Bigfoot, when like there, if you look on the old topographical maps, anything that says devil or something along those lines, most of the time was referring to something, wild man, Bigfoot,
Sure.
booger, whatever. It's that's that theme. But I think, people just use devil. That covers a lot of things, right?
It does. I did come
So
over across, when I was researching a previous topic, um, it's from a book called The Geologic Wonders of Missouri.
mhm,
And I quote, "The preoccupation of pioneer Missourians with the devil is dramatized by the dozen of natural features considered to be creations, haunts, or even corporeal parts of the devil. Settlers from the Appalachian Highlands were largely Scots-Irish in their background, and their concern with the devil was undoubtedly, and in many cases, a result of Calvinistic influences rather than familiarity with the legend of Faust.
right.
No cases of natural surface features involving angels were found. This condition is in sharp contrast to the Western United States, where the Latin American influence predominated and features incorporating terms alluding to angels in heaven are common."
Okay, I get it.
So I was like, oh, you know what? Yep. All of those people that came up from Appalachia brought all their stories and their superstitions and
Oh, yeah, they did. I
yeah,
was watching something the other day, and I never realized where the term hillbilly came from, and they were talking about so billy is a term that some of the Scots had because of their allegiance to one of the kings, and
William. Yeah.
yeah, and when they all, they the Scots migrated from the Appalachian Mountains, and we're immigrants of a lot of them here,
Mhm.
we're descendants of them. And they were talking about, so what they ended up doing was, because the terrain around here is hilly and everything else, they
Billy.
started
Yep.
to refer to the Scots that lived here as
As
hillbillies.
hillbillies. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, that's interesting. I never knew that. I found that the other day somewhere, and I was like, that's really interesting. Okay, it doesn't make me hate that term as much now.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
and my mom told me once where the term redneck came from,
yeah.
and it was from miners wearing red kerchiefs around their necks, and if there happened to be a cave in or a collapse, you would look for the rednecks.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? That makes me hate that term less.
Right,
You.
right. Because, hillbilly and redneck were always derogatory terms,
Right. And it's
especially,
like, no, no,
you know
let's not do that.
yeah, yeah, those were the derogatory terms when we were growing up.
Right. Exactly. So
Alright, what
let's
else you got for us?
what else do I have? Well, I like, you know what? Let's bop over to the Kansas City side of Missouri. Um, and I didn't live in Kansas City or near the Kansas City area long enough to go there. We think we moved south when I was 6. So I didn't go back. But Hill Park Cemetery is near Independence, Missouri, and it's formerly private land of blacksmith Adam Hill, so hence the name Hill Park.
Yeah,
Um, let's see. Supposedly, there's a glowing, misty figure, sometimes seen walking around the cemetery. Possibly the specter of the final unknown Civil War soldier that was buried there. Let's see. Union Cemetery um, was of particular interest. It was founded in 1857, and it's um, the state's oldest public cemetery. It's got 55,000 graves,
oh, good lord.
and it apparently grew because it outgrew the needs of their own cemeteries, city of Kansas and Westport, because there was a cholera epidemic, and they needed to bury a lot of dead. Um, let's see. So in 1989, Larry Morse reported um, the tragic tale of Libby Mavis. She was a 12-year-old girl who was forced into prostitution and murdered in the 18th century. So in the late 1800s or 19th century, sorry, in the late 1800s.
Okay.
She was buried in Union Cemetery, and Libby appeared to in a dream to her madam. So apparently she was a lady of ill repute as a young girl, claiming that her grave had been robbed. The lady woke up. The dream was reported. The grave indeed was robbed. The mystery was never solved.
Okay.
It's like,
Okie
okay,
dokie.
that's fine.
So was this lady related to the
No,
woman in the
it just
grave?
says it's her madam. So
Okay.
the lady that ran the house.
Okay.
The Union Cemetery is also on the National Register of Historic Places. Features a self-guided tour and map if you want to go. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see what else. What else? Um. Oh, Charlie Parker is a jazz saxophonist. He's buried in Lincoln Cemetery in Kansas City, which I thought was pretty cool. Because if there are any folks out there that have seen the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley,
Is it?
his boat is named Bird,
Yeah.
and Charlie Parker's when he lived in after his death in 1955, Bird Lives appeared in graffiti in New York, but Bird was his album that
Right.
everybody knew. So
Okay.
it's like, oh, yeah, I heard that in that movie. Anyway, um, there's really nothing else. I mean, I don't know. I love cemeteries, but I find them terribly not scary. Everybody wants to make cemeteries scary or haunted or creepy or ghouly because dead people are buried there, but if you
Well,
think
where else
about it,
would you
they're
bury dead
places
people?
of rest.
Yeah. Right.
They should be
Exactly.
places, places of peace, and it's like, this is where we go to say goodbye, and, you know.
So you're telling me that we shouldn't be out running around in them in the middle of the night.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
So okay. Have you ever had anything weird happen to you in a cemetery at night?
Other than scaring my own self, no.
Well, I've never really had anything happen to me, but I might have been the cause of something happening to
Go
somebody
figure. I'm so surprised.
else. Well,
When you're
s-
given the material, when the material falls right in your lap, who are you to say no?
right?
I will not do this.
No, no. I'm always like, yeah,
Responsible person would say no,
nah,
but
it's
I am
not me.
Mary Ann.
You've been with me, you know me. It's like, let's go. Come on. No, my this friend of mine in high school, we were sitting on her front porch, and in the town we lived in, there was this little bitty cemetery. And unfortunately, a lot of the teachers thought it was great, or teenagers thought it was great to park in that cemetery. Now, I never understood that. Okay.
Oh, to
That was
park and
not,
make out.
no,
That's not the sexy
that's
vibe.
not the place to do
Not a
that. But
sexy
okay.
vibe.
So we're sitting on her front porch, and it's across from the road that you turn to go down to the cemetery. And she could have swore she saw her boyfriend's car go, right? So what
Uh-huh.
did the two of us? We think this is a great idea to run across the highway, through the woods, and into the cemetery to find him, right?
Of course. We're gonna catch you.
We're going to catch you, right? So we decide to split up and go on opposite sides, right? And so we're going along, and I hear, I don't know, there's like this thump, bump, bang, and I just sat down. I'm like, what in the hell is that, right? And
Sorry,
so,
I'm working some mead. Sorry to
yeah, she's
interrupt.
got her mead going there. But so I just sat down behind the stone and waited, and I could hear running, right? And so uh, it was my friend coming back. She had fallen over a gravestone, right? That was what the, yeah, right. She was not the most graceful, but anyway, she
Okay.
falls over this thump, bump, bang, you know. Well, when she comes back to me, I reached out and grabbed her so she'd stop. Well, yeah, she stopped, but she's screaming bloody murder in the meantime, right? Jerked her down. I'm like, shut up, shut up, right? We're both sitting there at that point against this gravestone. We hear the car tear out of the cemetery, right? I mean, just tearing it up.
Oh my God.
Leaves. So we don't know at this point if it was her boyfriend or not. We have to walk back to the house, you know, and I'm bitching at her about, you know, being loud out there and blowing our cover and everything else. Well, we get to school Monday, and the big story at school is that the cemetery's haunted, that there's screaming going on in the cemetery in the
Oh my
middle of the
God. The ghosts are screaming. Hi, Marianne.
It was
Ghost.
us. It was us. We laughed about it
No
because
problem with me.
everybody was talking about it. We did not find out
Were you
who
just like
started
keeping your
it.
mouth shut, like trying to read, going, no, dude.
Oh, yeah, and you can all hear them talking about, "Did you hear about the cemetery?" You know, all the screaming that was going on in the cemetery, you know, and we're just, like, snickering going, "Yep, okay, mhm." That kinda stopped the parking in the cemetery for a while. I mean, it eventually picked back up, but
Sure.
yeah, you know, it was like, yeah, you know, when stuff like that happens, you just have to go with the flow. You have to take
So,
advantage of what's going on. Exactly.
yeah, I remember, this is kind of off topic, but sort of maybe not. When I was in 4th grade, I had access to a pair of a book of matches, and I lit a match in the bathroom,
Yeah.
blew it out, you know, ran into the sink, went back to class. Somebody came running back in and said that somebody was smoking in the bathroom because they could smell the matches. And here I am over here reading my book like upside down, going, well, that's weird.
Well, I've decided I don't think you'd make the best criminal because, you know, you don't have a poker face, dear. You know,
Me? No,
yeah,
I have seriously resting bitch face.
you know, so, you know,
My the look on my face alone used to start so many fights with Chris. And I'm like, dude, I just walked in the room. What are you
I haven't
what?
unleashed anything yet.
But it was, you know, the look on my face when he said something, apparently, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anywho,
I've
alright.
been accused of that too, not by my husband. He knows better. He knows better,
Well,
but
he would never.
he would
He would
never.
never.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows, you know, I always tell him, "I know where you sleep, you know,
I
I
know
know
where
where
you
you
sleep,
sleep,
I know
dear."
how well you sleep, I know how deep you sleep,
Yeah,
my love.
yeah.
Love you, Robert. Bob,
Oh,
as I call him. No, never.
bless that
Oh,
man, yeah. He's good, he's good. That's
he
all
is a
good.
good one. I still can see him, and I don't know if you wanna share that, that's nobody's business, but I just still see him back in the day, just bopping through the store with his wheelie, with his little hand truck with the packages,
His little FedEx shorts.
his little FedEx shorts. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
those were the days.
yep, exactly, exactly, those little shorts.
Marianne, FedEx is here. Do you wanna go sign for it?
Or y'all just fucking disappear on me. So I had to
Oh,
sign.
FedEx is here. Yeah, Sue, come on,
Yeah.
we gotta go to the back. Come
We
on.
got to the back. Run!
Oh,
Hide!
let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go see what he just brought. Mhm.
Oh well. Oh well. Anyway.
All right. Well, I got a couple of more. Couple of more.
Couple more. Okay. Couple
Couple
more.
of more. I need to have another drink. Anyway.
Yeah. Drink that mead so you can talk straight.
All righty. I don't know if I want to do any more cemeteries because
Well,
I
what
might
else you
save
got?
those for our cemetery night.
Okay.
But I did find some stories about haunted areas around Springfield, Missouri.
There's what around Springfield, Missouri?
There's a handful of scary things around Springfield. Did you
That's not
know?
including all the meth heads, right?
I mean, meth heads would be number one, but number two would be apparently there's a bride under the bridge at Phelps Grove Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know why said bride is under the bridge?
Let's see. The spirit is relatively new, even though the park is quite old. Evidently killed in a car accident. It was the day of her wedding. Of course it was. And as she and her new groom drove through the park, the car went out of control and they were both killed. The bride under the bridge is often spied near the third bridge in the park in the evening. The
Okay.
forlorn bride is usually standing, holding the hem of her gown, but there is only darkness where her face should be. Ta-da!
Okay.
You
So,
know, I've been to Phelps Grove Park several times.
yeah, it's probably not a place you want to go to too much anymore,
I mean, you wouldn't want to go there now, I don't think, because I think it is kind of a myth,
especially after dark.
especially after dark. But back in
Especially
high school, when you were cruising around with your group of kids in the car,
Yep.
You'd go over there to maybe sit in the parking lot and drink the pilfered alcohol that
Somebody found. Yeah.
somebody found or somebody's brother bought for you, or
Your bottle of boons you didn't
after you
finish.
cruise to McDonald's and you buy everybody gets a Coke, you dump half of it out and then everybody gets alcohol and then you go somewhere.
Oh no,
Don't
hell,
ever
we just had we has bottles of boons. Are you kidding me? You don't dilute that
Well,
crap.
and Chris started losing his hair when he was in high school, so he actually looked 21. So there was a place in Springfield where he could buy alcohol.
We had a place in Windy City. The poor old man was so blind he couldn't tell. If you had the balls to walk in there and put your money down, he'd sell it to you.
Right.
You know. So yeah, like bless his heart.
Oh,
But
all right. So, Bass Country Inn. You know where Bass Country Inn is?
it's in
In town.
Springfield?
Yep, in town, in Springfield.
No.
Let me see. Let me see if it gives me an address. Bass Country Inn.
Motel, hotel, no-tell, what?
Hold on. I'm getting something in Egan. I'm like, no, I need Missouri. Oh, it's in Platte City, Missouri.
Okay, that's not Springfield. That's why we don't know what it
Springfield.
is.
What? Whatever. Anyway, there's a ghost named Carl.
Carl? Carl resides there?
Carl.
Okay.
He's a
Carl.
former busboy and is said to still haunt the premises. Staff have reported seeing him in the kitchen and in the halls. Others reported just seeing a pair of legs beneath a table. When they crouch down, there's no one there. That would freak me out. Look, there's just legs.
There's just legs. It was a magic show gone wrong, right? It's been sawed in half, and that's all that's here.
So Carl has often been reported as having seen just out of the corner of the eye, disappearing into the office or down the hall. But of course, upon closer inspection, nobody's there.
Yep.
Carl is seemingly harmless, other than just having his legs out, scaring the shit out of you.
As opposed to other things out scaring the shit out
Right.
of you.
But then other reports have reported a female spirit who isn't very friendly.
Okay.
So that's kind of whatever. Let's see. I came along a bunch from Drury University, alma mater of Bob Barker.
Yep.
Have your pet spayed or neutered. No, seriously. Um, Drury opened its doors in 1873 with 39 pupils in attendance. Let's see. Old colleges, which one? I'm trying to get to the Smith Hall was a women's dormitory at Drury, and apparently a little girl haunts the area because she once lived in the Victorian house that was on the premises.
That's no longer there. Have they
It's no
changed
longer
it to
there.
somewhere? Oh,
So
okay.
she was
Okay.
running into the fire to retrieve her teddy bear.
Okay.
Sad.
Yeah.
But now she haunts the building that's currently there, apparently, because that's the memory that's, replayed
Right.
over and over, right? Um, she's still seen in the hallway searching for her teddy bear. Apparently she's dressed in pink, walking through the halls and the walls. Student apparently there's another one that's a bit of a prankster that likes to unlock doors and just have them standing wide open, pull their drawers out. Sometimes the teddy bear is actually sitting in the drawer. So the haunted teddy bear is a ghost too. The teddy bear's a ghost. Okay. I
I don't
mean,
know.
maybe it's just the
That's
memory of a ghost. The memory of
it's
the teddy
a
bear
memory. Okay. A residual haunting.
that it turns solid. I don't know. Another student tells a story of an unused telephone that was stored in a closet that would just ring. Like it was in a storage closet
Yeah.
and
So
the
it was
telephone
an
would just ring.
unhooked phone
Wasn't
that
It was
would
an
ring.
unhooked phone. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Clara Thompson Hall. Many reports have reported that pianos seemingly play by themselves, doors close on their own, lights flickering at the Will Hoyt Theater when no one's in the theater.
Well, Hancock's was haunted when we worked there.
No, I don't know that, but I would never go down into that weird little area that I almost freaking fell down in when Stuart came at me.
Well, like when I would go in there in the mornings and be opening up when nobody was there. When you'd walk through the store one morning, I think it was when the Christmas carols were playing, right?
Yeah.
And there was completely different singing going on. And I'm like walking through the store going, wait a minute, that's not right. Because there was a carol, but then there was singing, and it wasn't the same thing. And I'm like walking through the store and I said, yeah, no, we're not doing that today. Stop that. Go away. No, no, nope, 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 nope.
No.
But I would catch that every once in a while. But yeah, there was that had been a grocery store at one point in time.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was because I had a psychic in there one time that told me the gentleman that used to own that grocery store hung out there. He was there all the time.
Oh.
He was like he worked in the meat department. He owned the store, but he worked in the meat department, right?
Okay.
And he was there, and I was like, okay, well, that explains a few things because there were some times, that there was some creepy stuff that went on in there, and times when it was like, yeah, you're not alone in this store, and it
The
type deal.
unease and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
going back in through a dark room to turn the freaking lights on. I remember several times I had to have my phone flashlight on if the sunlight wasn't coming through that bathroom window.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. exactly, exactly. Yeah, because it was really dark in there. So, but yeah,
That
those are
was
some,
creepy.
yeah,
Let's see. And again, there's the other university in town, SMSU. Or I
MSU.
guess it's Missouri State University, not
Yeah,
Southwest Missouri State University anymore.
they've changed it again. It's MSU now. So
Well, it's SMSU to me.
I
Anyway.
know, I know.
But there's a dorm there called Freudenberger House, aka Freddy House. Um, and there is a female spirit. And I asked my sister because she works in the math department, and I was like,
Right.
"Hey, have you heard any stories about about Freddy being haunted?" And she said, "Yeah, some elderly, kindly elderly woman." I was like, "Oh, that tracks because it's a female phantom said to haunt the building." Um, Houses a place home to over 700 students. It was built in 1959, uh, named for Norman Freudenberger, a professor of Latin. Professor
Okay.
Freudenberger, I teach Latin. Oh, okay. Would have thought maybe he was a
Sure, you shouldn't be teaching German.
profiling.
Yeah.
But according to the stories, it's a matronly ghost who's often referred to as the dorm mom.
Okay.
She's seemingly interested in the fifth floor. So maybe that's where she died. Maybe that's where the repeat is played. But from what I was researching, she doesn't seem to be. Maybe could give you a start if you're not prepared for her,
That's
but
about
is
it.
not scary in general.
Okay.
More of a
All right.
comforting spirit, maybe. Um, and then
Interesting.
we all know about anybody who's lived in Springfield. We all know about Landers Theater, aka Little Theater. It was built in 1909. I used to go there a lot when I was little with my mom. Um, so I heard all of these stories and things too. I would wander around that place by myself and never get the creepy vibe and never see anything weird. Not saying that none of this has happened, but I experienced but I'm like, wow, as much as I was alone in that place by myself,
You would have thought you would have had
I
something.
would have thought I had something.
Yeah.
Even purposely going up to the upper balcony where it's said that, there's somebody supposed to be hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of the upper balcony, there were reports that a baby was accidentally dropped from the other
Jeez.
upper balcony. And then sometimes when actors are on stage, they hear that they can hear the baby crying, followed by comforting words from a ghostly mother.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, yeah. Well, we are about at our hour
Oh
mark.
my gosh, we are! Look at that. That was so much
Yeah.
fun.
So you're going to
And
have
here
to.
I was worried that because I had
Yeah.
a whole lot of stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Go me.
Nope. You got your stuff. You got stuff for another one. Um, we need to do a couple of things here. We need
Y'all.
to talk about the upcoming conference. Anybody that doesn't have their tickets, they need to get those. Still have a very, very few spots for the camp out. If you all are interested in that, go to Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference and private message me on there, and we can get those taken care of for you. If you're just interested in the conference itself or the VIP night where we will be having the speakers record a podcast and serve dinner, those tickets are all on eventbrite.com. Go over there and check those out. You can purchase those. And of course, I've got an expedition next week in Arkansas. It's really close to the cutoff, but we maybe could get another person or two in if they really got on it. And then at the end of the month of October, we have another expedition in Missouri. And we are looking forward to having David on. He's going to
Mhm.
be our forensics. He's going to be teaching us while we're out there. So I'm looking forward to that. And one other thing, I want to finish the evening out with is we all, we had a blow to our community when Dr. Meldrum passed away. That was very unexpected. And, it took all of us by surprise. That was not anything anybody expected. So, I know we're all reeling from that because he was, you know, very highly regarded. He was a class act. I got to meet him this summer back in West Virginia. Spent a little bit of time talking to the man. Super sweet, super kind, highly intelligent man. And, I'm so not only, of course, I feel bad for his family. I mean, of course, that goes without saying, but we were, in the plans of maybe trying to bring him to the conference next year.
Yeah.
He was talking, we were talking about that. So, that's devastating to know that we no longer get to spend time with him and learn things from him and just share in all the knowledge that this man had. So, you know, um,
Yeah.
it's hard for us all, and we're still in shock over it. And we just have to remember, of what a shining example he was for the rest of us. He didn't get caught up in the nonsense and the egos of Bigfoot like some people do.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I want to thank you all for coming on tonight and sharing your time with us. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you. It was fun.
Yes, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Like it, share it out, tell everybody about us. Where you've got all kinds of exciting shows booked. You definitely want to see Tuesday night show. You're going to love who's on that one. And just, keep sharing this show because we're growing so fast. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to teach and spread the word about logical thinking in Bigfoot, scientific thinking in Bigfoot, all those kind of things. So, with that being said, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and
Stay weird.
stay weird and continue to show me your Bigfoot.